have found the Genesis frequency. This is Dr. Stephen J. Kazmina welcoming you in to another episode of a show that focuses on your whole life prosperity and success. Whole life prosperity and success by cooperating with the universal laws that are available to each and every one of us. This is Quantum Leap Goal Achievement, radical personal transformation, whole life prosperity and success. Now, stay tuned for another exciting episode that'll move the needle in your life from where you are now to where you want to be. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it may be, wherever you are in the world. When you hit that play button, so glad you did. This is Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kazmina, coming at you with another episode here of the Genesis Frequency, a show that focuses on your personal and professional development. I am not a medical doctor. I am a metaphysician, someone that looks at the underlying nature of things, the laws of cause and effect. And when we look at that and look to personal and professional development, becoming a better version of ourselves, well, we want to always make sure that we're co- cooperating with the laws of causation. We want to be at cause so we can experience the effect that we desire to experience. And that's what the show really is about, the laws of cause and effect. So many people get all wrapped up, and I say this over and over again, into what the media and mainstream chooses to focus on, chooses to make popular, like, the law of attraction, the secret. And it's all valid and it's all, it's all law, it's all good stuff. But what we fail to learn about and what we fail to study about in some of these works is that attraction principles and attraction taking place and happening is an effect. Well, what was the cause of that effect? See, we always have to get to cause. So that's what we work on in the show. And if you look back the last few episodes, in fact, there are several episodes throughout the almost 5 years of this show that have focused on manifestation and the 5 step manifestation process. In fact, I had a chapter in the book, uh, Cracking the Rich Code, with Kevin Harrington and Jim Brett, whole chapter on that. And it has been a very elementary look at, hey, how do we do this? How do we cooperate with these laws, work in harmony with them so we can experience the life we would love to live? And again, this is for individuals, small businesses, or on your corporate team, in your corporation, working on corporate goals or working on corporate culture. Any and all of these things. It's the same way because it's all law. It's just like the laws of the universe. And these are laws of the universe, but I mean, we can relate it to just gravity doesn't just work for the individual and not the small business owner. Gravity doesn't work for the business owner and not in the corporate environment. These are laws. So you want to pay attention. You want to learn how to apply these and cooperate with them. That's probably a better word, to cooperate with the laws, work in harmony with the laws, uh, rather than apply them, because it's not something that we apply. It's something we become aware of. And being aware of them, well, then we make adjustments in our thinking, in our behavior, in our habits by identifying habitual behavior that's not in alignment with these laws. So you want to listen in and you want to go back probably because, as I mentioned earlier, I've done a lot of shows on, hey, manifesting this and moving into the life you would love to live. All good stuff. I love all the material that I have out there. And I know you do too. The listenership and the downloads are growing and growing and growing all over the world. So I appreciate that. But I've been taking a deeper dive over the last few episodes, starting back. I'm looking back here, back in June, end of June. took a look at the field of infinite potential and unconditioned energy. And that was a download, just a download just to go in that direction. I'm talking in mind here, a download to talk about this unconditioned energy, the power in that. So we started talking about the field of infinite potential, unconditioned energy. You can go back. I jumped off a little bit and talked about the metaphysics involved in sales mastery. Did an episode on that, and then I went back to infinite potentiality again, and this unconditioned source energy, because it all starts there. What does it start? Where does it start? Where does this come from when we want to apprehend something, apprehend something in consciousness and make it manifest in our world of form? How do we move the invisible, that which was created using the power of our imagination, but yet it's invisible to our sensory experience? How do we move that into our physical world of form? And that's what I started talking about, this unconditioned source energy that's available to everyone. And then last week was the metaphysics of manifestation, starting with some very basic definitions, really, and some concepts, getting you aware. Awareness is everything, getting you aware of how much more there is to you, to life, to living, to this universe than just what you may think you are. So many people think, well, this is me, this is my body. I'm this age, I'm this tall, I'm this size, I'm this weight, and all this, and that's not you. There's so much more of you to this energy substance that you are. So we started talking about these laws that precede the law of attraction. And we started talking about energy, because energy is just where it all starts. Energy is, it just is this. Everything is energy. There is nothing that is not energy. There's nothing that is not made of energy. Everything is out of energy. And this energy is unconditioned. And then I started talking about this unconditioned energy as just latent power. And how does that become active? How do we activate the power that molds and shapes energy and makes this energy like plastic? And so that's what that episode was about last week: energy, power, and thought, because everything happens in thought, everything happens in mind. So we're going to go a little bit deeper in that, because we have to understand and really pay attention to thought. And here's where people kind of get tripped up a little bit, because I know what a thought is. We have thoughts all day. Oh, you sure do. And the difference with a thought, the thinking process, and not skim over this. And that's what so many people do. They skim. Well, I want to get to this. I want to get to the meat and potato. I want to get to, what is it? I want to manifest. I want this to show up in my life. Well, let's talk about thought for a little bit, okay? And where this is taking place. So, thought, and I'm going back and using for reference, quite often I'll use Revealing Word, book of metaphysical definitions by Charles Fillmore. And he defines thought as a product of thinking. Okay, that makes sense. That's easy, right? Thought is a product of thinking, a mental vibration or impulse. Okay, we're getting a little deeper here. It's a vibration. I talk a lot about vibration. The name of this show is Frequency, right? A mental vibration or frequency. Each thought is an identity that has a central ego around which all its elements revolve. Thoughts are capable of expressing themselves. Every thought clothes itself in a life form according to the character given it by the thinker. The form is simply the conclusion of the thought. So, thoughts are things. And I ask you the question, have you considered and thought about your thoughts being actual things? And this is important to do this. Your thoughts are things. Think about this. Thoughts, they are vibrations. They have a central ego around which all its elements revolve. Thoughts are capable of expressing themselves. Every thought clothes itself in a life form according to the character given to it by the thinker. The form is simply the conclusion of the thought. So, what is this character? How do they express? How are they clothed? Well, when we take these thoughts, when we apprehend one of these thoughts, and we start to clothe it with the garment of emotion and feeling, it tends to rise to the top in our thinking process. It tends to impregnate the idea that is the central ego of the thought into our subconscious mind. And wrapped in that feeling and emotion, it's starting to move into a frequency that becomes manifest in our visible world of form. So that's a whole lot right there. But just know that every thought is a product of your thinking. And what is thinking? Well, it's the formulating process of mind. And sadly to say, most people don't think. There's a great quote out there by George Bernard Shaw. I don't know. I'd paraphrase it. I always get it wrong, but it's like 2% of the people think, you know, 90% of the people think they think, and I don't know. It's just amazing. And you can just see that in society that, there's not a whole lot of thinking going on in a whole lot of different areas. So this is something we want to give some thought to. Thinking is the formulating process of mind. It is a faculty of the ego. Okay. And this is where we engage in the activity of selection. We're selecting what thoughts are we going to entertain? What thoughts are we going to dress? What thoughts are we going to attach emotion to? And so, this is where I need you to really start to become aware of the thinking as a process and the thoughts that are a product of the thinking. Because we're getting to the all the things that precede what shows up in your life. So we're thinking, we're using mind to think, and we think thoughts, and then we have this gap in between each thought, and we make these, and this all happens in a millisecond, a billionth of a second, a trillionth of a second. We have this gap, and we decide whether we're going to clothe this thought, animate this thought, give it some life, right? This thought is an idea and we like it and it excites us. It creates an emotional state, perhaps, and we're going to choose to hang on to this and develop this thought. Well, it works the other way too. So many times we start to apprehend a thought that comes from without, outside of us. Are bombarded all day long by the sensory input, things from the TV, the radio, the news, the world around us, friends, relatives, strangers, input all day long, every day, just bombarding us. And we process this sensory input. We're processing it all the time. And a lot of this we're doing at an unconscious level, but so much of it we're doing at a conscious level. Well, I agree with that. No, I don't agree with that. I have an opinion about that. I don't have any opinion about that. I have a bias towards this. I have an unconscious bias. Now we're getting into stuff that you don't even know that you have, and we lean in different ways, and we apprehend some of that input. And in the thinking process, and then through the mental faculty of reasoning, we're making another decision. Do I develop this? Do I clothe this thought that is coming at me? I'm having a thought about what I just saw on the television. And am I going to get emotionally wrapped up with that? So we do that, and we do that all the time. There's this disease going around. There's this sickness. There's this crime spree. There's this, there's that going around. And we get emotionally involved in it. And it all works the same way. We move it to the top of the list, impregnate the subconscious mind with this idea, whether it's our own thought, own thinking, which is very rare, or it's something from the outside, and we start to develop, we start to live from this energy that's been conditioned by either someone else, or we condition energy further. So I'm trying to get into a real basic definition of all this works, but guess what, we have to back up even further. Where is this taking place? Because we talked about energy and unconditioned energy. It just is. It's everywhere present, right? And then we talked about power, and there's power there, and the energy can be conditioned, and it can become very, very powerful. And how do we do that? We condition the energy, and it becomes powerful through our thoughts. Where is this taking place? Well, it takes place in mind. So so now we're getting even deeper because we're backing up the truck a little bit. And I invite you to think in terms of this energy and this source and this power, this latent energy and power, uh, getting clothed and being made manifest in certain ways through mind through a thinker and a thought. Okay, remember the definition. The thought is the product of thinking, a mental vibration or impulse. Each thought is an identity that has a central ego around which all elements revolve. So when we look at mind, I'm inviting you to look at mind or universal mind as uppercase M, right? Mind, not necessarily local, but yes, local, meaning to our energy field. If we would not think of our body mass as who and what we are, if we would think of ourselves more as an energy field that we have captured of this infinite energy. We've captured some of this, but we are one of it. And so it is with mind. We have a mind, what I call mortal mind or even carnal mind, and there's some differences there. But just the fact that we're here, a thinker had to think a thought so that we would be made manifest in the form that we see ourselves as. So now we're looking at mind as an uppercase M, which is universal mind, which is uppercase T for thinker, and having a thought that created everything that we see. And then we had a hand in that because we are one of this. So I don't want to go too deep in this episode. In fact, we're already pretty deep in this episode. But start to wrap your thinking around all this. So because this energy just is, and then it was conditioned and became very, very powerful and capable of producing what we see in our field of experience and our sensory field of experience by mind, uppercase M, mind, uppercase T, thinker. And we are of that. But in our mortal state, we don't always clothe those thoughts in what we want to experience. But I'm inviting you to think from the infinite, if you will, from this uppercase M mind, from this universal mind, and just be aware of it. and just be aware that you are of it, that you are from it, that all that is in that is available to you as well. And just sit with that, because my objective here is to get you to the point that you just go, wow, just wow. We can't really, in our human state, wrap our head around, wrap our mind around infinite, eternal, and concepts like that. It's difficult to do. But once you get a sense, just a taste of just how powerful you are, because you have mind, right? You are accessing this energy, this infinite energy. You have thoughts and thinking taking place. You're thinking thoughts, and the thoughts and the thinking is is our method, our vehicle to apprehend this energy, to be the power that shapes it and molds it into what we want to experience in our lives. So the objective of this show, all right, I threw a lot at you, is just to just sit back and just kind of think about these things, kind of just ponder them. And we're going to continue to go deeper because we are the creators. We mold and shape this energy. We realize that there is a lot of power. We have the power to do that. And the power is taking place in mind. It's taking place through the process called thinking and the formation of thought. And then we get to choose, and this is where so much power comes in. We can choose which thoughts that we're going to cling to, that we're going to hold on to, that we're going to develop, that we're going to clothe with specificity. Get where I'm going with this? The goal, the dream, the aspiration, the desire, the corporate goal, the small business goal, the individual goal. And these can be tangible and intangible. Everybody right away says, yeah, I want to increase business. I want more sales. I want more money. I want more romance. I want a loving relationship. I want health and physical fitness. That's all good. But don't forget the intangible stuff in there too. The love and the faith and the belief and those kinds of things. It all works the same way. So we're going to keep going deeper in here because we can go much, much deeper. I just threw a few things at you today: thinking, thought, metaphysical definitions of, we're talking about mind and uppercase mind, but then we have, mortal mind, carnal mind, the mind of change, fixed state of mind, mind of the flesh, subconscious mind, three phases of mind. There's a bunch of different directions I want to go to just give you a sense of the power and the energy and what's taking place that precedes attraction, that precedes what's showing up. We're going to talk about thought atmosphere and the center of thought and colonies of thoughts and thought stuff and thought vibrations. So we'll go deeper. And what I'm trying to do is just make this so it's plain, it's simple, and not so much give you something that you don't have, but just make you aware of what is and have you discover it on your own through pondering, through contemplation, through thinking thoughts, through becoming aware of your own mind and how very powerful it is. So that's your homework, but you also have more. You got to put in the comments section, hey, this makes sense, or I'm confusing you, or go over it again, or what? Because I try to squeeze everything into an unscripted 20-minute period. And sometimes I think I'm crystal clear, and sometimes I'm all over the place. I get it. So I need input from you so I know what you want me to expand on. We're going to keep going down this road because the whole idea here is, hey, you want to move into your place somewhere over the rainbow, right? You've identified a big dream goal for yourself, your small business, your corporation, the culture you want to create, and you want to move into that. And you want to make that quantum leap, and you want to do it sooner than later. We have to understand the way we're wired. Okay. And this is beyond our personality and all that stuff. We're talking about the basics, how everything shows up in our field of experience. We have to understand and comprehend this and be aware of it before we move into all the other stuff. So that's what we're doing. We're going to continue move down this road. I've had all the talks on metaphysics, the metaphysics of creation and manifestation have been some of the highest rated shows I've had. So that tells me, along with the comments that I've received, that you want me to keep going down this road. So I'll do so. So fill me in, write me. You can make an appointment with me at successappointment.com. That gets you right on my calendar. You can reach out to me at Stephen, Stephen, at successocean.com. If you're in the corporate space, probably the best thing to do is go to successocean.com. If you just want to talk, give me more information, you can go to the website for the show, thegenesisfrequency.com. That's fine too. Or if you want to get into the laptop and cell phone lifestyle, become an entrepreneur in this field of success, personal, professional development, go to successocean.biz, and share your information with me. Check out a video I posted in there recently, and we can talk about seeing if you qualify, doing an interview, see if you qualify to move into the wonderful world of being an entrepreneur. So all those are all ways to reach out to me. I encourage you to do so. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it. Let's get you moving into your own quantum leap into the life you would love to live. For now, that's going to do it. You've been listening to the Genesis Frequency and Dr. Stephen J. Kosmina. I wish for you an infinitely spectacular day. God bless you.